And don't forget to check out and order your copy of our latest book, Stiff Arming Football Myths. You can find these available on our website at footballgameplan.com/books, and we have these both in paperback and PDF form. Welcome to another edition of Get Coached Up. I'm Emory Hunt, the czar of the playbook, here on the campus of Central Connecticut State with assistant coach Sal Conti.
How are we doing, Emory?
Doing all right. First of all, you're an interesting story, because you're a young guy. You're a student assistant coach here at CCSU. How did that whole process come about?
Well, obviously, of course, for me, being a young guy, as you said, cliche, but it starts with academics. I picked this school because it was best for me from an academic standpoint, best for me from an environment standpoint, all that good stuff. I just really love the campus. I love being around the people here at Central. Felt like home for me. So before we even get into the football aspect, I really felt at home here. I love wearing the blue and white. I love representing Blue Devils. I love all of that. As far as the football stuff, I'm deeply rooted in football. It's my passion. It's not just a hobby. This is what I do. I was an assistant coach at Maloney High School this past fall in Connecticut, working with the offensive line specifically. And it's really, for me, it's all about two things. It's about persistence and added value. Persistence as in, I really wanted to find a way. As soon as I knew there was a tiny crack in the door, I wanted to really blow that door open and really make myself part of this football family here at Central. And then added value. So whether you're at the top or you're at the very bottom or you're somewhere in between, I wanted to make sure I was adding value some way, whether it be, doing what people could think is such a tiny little task could push a program up another step. So whatever it is that I can do to add value, that's what I want to do here, and I can't wait for the next step.
Well, I like where you're going already, man. You got a good head on your shoulders, and I'm excited to get this session started. What you coaching me up on today?
So today, I know a lot of people love the Gus Malzahn style power read, and I know a lot of people have seen some previous videos on some counter schemes. So what I did was, I'm going to take the old school Joe Gibbs Washington Redskins counter scheme. I'm going to set it with some different first level reads, some different backfield action, and then we're going to take that and morph it with some pass action pass and some hot reads off of it that you can use if defenses adjust accordingly.
Nice. Let's go get coached up.
All right. So I want to take some old school, Washington Joe Gibbs counter tray, fit it to a more modern spread set, and add some different backfield action to it. So I'll just get right into it. Close side to the left, we got a tight end here, against an odd defense. So against this front, play side tight end is going to take a gap step here, occupy this half of the end. Play side tackle is going to take a gap step here, occupy this half of the end. We're going to tray that, backside, This tackle is a run through player. All right, if we get anything in his gap right now, he's going to take it over. If this end crosses space, he's taking over the end, tight end climbs. Play side guard is going to angle down. He's responsible for play side A gap. This nose can't cross his face. If everything stays as normal, there's no stunts, no games, no twists. He's responsible for the inner half of this nose. So in the old school counter tray against an odd front, this end would have to shuffle down or turn and sprint to this D end. That's not a great block. This is an athletic player. Our center might not be as long, as rangy. Don't want him to play two gaps down. So what we'll do is, we'll have him angled down for play side A gap, whether we get inside pressure, if we get a long stick here, if we get a slant by this nose. If we get no movement, he's responsible for the outer half of this nose guard. Backside guard, pull kick, a first man pass tight end. This 9 technique here. Backside tackle is going to pull and wrap up for the mic. Key thing for him is that we want him at a yard's depth, so he's clearly behind this guard, and his entry point, right around the V gap, inside the shoulder of the pulling guard. Right along here, walling that thing off. Backside DN we'll leave alone, just for now, for argument's sake, to seal the backside. We're going to have our slot. Now we can use motion, we can tighten the split, or we can put him in line, but for argument's sake right now, we're going to put him out in a slot position and have him cut off his wheel. So, get that over here. So right now, this defensive end is going to be unblocked. Okay, he'll be our read key. Now traditionally, you'll see the read come from a veer, a pistol style formation, okay? Or you'll see front side with the A-back being the dive player and the quarterback being the pitch. So what I wanted to do is, I want the quarterback to be the dive player, I want the A-back to be the pitch, so to speak. Okay? This works really well if you have an A-back out in space that really likes to run and likes those angles in the alley, and if you have a quarterback that can run really well downhill, especially in a QB power game. So this is what we're gonna do, all right? So think about this relationship between the quarterback and running back, since I know you're a running back guy, okay, as the same relationship on power read. So it's 1, 2, 3 through the mesh, okay? If this DN crashes, if he shuffles down or follows his tackle, okay, we're gonna give the ball, and this running back will look to insert outside of the alley block and inside of the post block by our number 1 receiver, okay? If we keep the ball, okay, which means if he expands his leverage, this defensive end expands his leverage, okay, maintains width, we're gonna gut it right in the B gap, okay? If this is an experienced inside runner or quarterback, okay, and he can start to recognize Mike flow, and he sees Mike go over the top, this play will probably hit closer to the outer edge of the A gap, okay? But somewhere in that inside A to outside B range is where we wanna hit the ball inside.
Now, why is it important you have backside tackle going B gap? Why is that mesh point important?
Well, it's important for the backside tackle because he needs to see backward flow as we rep the play more and more. If he takes a flat path, and this well-trained Mike, if he's worth the salt, can blow up the play right now. So he needs to get proper depth, okay, behind this guard, see him pre-snap, and if he scrapes way over the top, or if he comes right now, he's got to be able to react. That's very important.
And right here on this combo block right there, or you want those guys to slow play that, or will they have to? Because you don't want chaos right here in the hole.
Right. The most important thing, obviously, is getting movement at the point of attack. Okay. Obviously, the play may not hit in the D gap, but we still want movement at the point of attack. If they're going to sit a heavy 5 technique right here, we have to move him, because if we have trash inside, like you're saying, our quarterback's going to have a hard time squeezing that ball to the interior. So obviously we need to get this tackle to run through. Right now he has to abort and get to the run through, but movement at the point of attack is the key there. Now I'm going to give you an adjustment that I'll make against an odd defense if I think this invert player, okay, is sending pressure to try and blow up our outside run. Okay, so if this DN, okay, we get a bender, we get some sort of inside presence by this end, forces us to give this ball, okay, and we'll have repped this over and over and over again, that this quarterback is used to seeing what the edge looks like, okay, and we get some sort of pressure from this outside backer, okay, when our slot goes to wall the will off and sees pressure, he's just going to replace the will about 5 yards on the width pitch, okay. Think of this somewhere between a regular standard curl or a snag, just somewhere right in between. So he'll sit on that width pitch. So when that quarterback opens his hips on the ride and gives this A-back the proper angle, almost like an outside zone type angle, to take that edge, and he'll see from his peripherals this will come, he's just going to turn and throw right here the slot right here.
So it's a little bit sort of packaging plays together. You have what, three plays in one, to where this is basically what, a sight adjustment for both the receiver and the QB.
It's basically what it is. It's a hot read built into a run play, where we know we're getting outside pressure, we can just turn and throw and have instant access here. It's just, as soon as he goes, he thinks he's getting a crack right here, he doesn't, will pressure, we can just turn and throw and hit the whip pitch.
You gave you the run play, you showed up a built-in hot read. Is there anything else we have off this play we're running today?
Well, we can. There is a response that you can use if you're getting excessive edge pressure, and you don't want your quarterback to keep throwing hot, and you still want, to dig deeper into your playbook and keep this series alive without just turning and throwing hot, because that allows the defense that forces you to play reactionary to defense, and we want them to force and burn chalk at halftime and stuff like that, to have answers to what you put to them, not vice versa. That's when you take control of the game. So now we're going to turn this into a play action pass type deal, okay? So I'll start from the close side and work my way over, okay? So obviously we're not straight blocking here. We're going to take an inside step, occupy this half of the end, okay? This tackle is going to be wary of his gap, which is the B gap, okay? But if he sees no color, he can help on this tight end, okay? Because obviously there's a good chance this end is a bigger and stronger player than my tight end, okay? This play side guard, or not play side guard, my left guard is responsible for the A gap right here, Center's responsible for A-gap here. Okay, my guard is going to pull and kick the first man past the tight end and settle here. Okay, and my play side tackle, not necessarily a hinge block, but he's going to step and negate all pressure from the B. If he sees nothing, it's just his head up 5. He's going to maintain and settle right there. Okay, for the backfield action, it's the same footwork. It's here, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and right to the edge. A-back's the low player. Okay, so if we get any sort of dart exchange, we get some sort of edge pressure, he's the low guy. So he will block any edge pressure, first man outside of this open end. Okay? He will check and release now. So if he gets no edge pressure, he'll go right to the flat. Okay? He's the check down in this progression. Okay? Moving to number 2 here. Okay? He will maintain his width hitch. So instead of going for the crack and settling if he sees pressure, he'll go right into his width hitch, which is the same thing that's being coached before. Nothing new for him. It's the same deal. Okay, so number 1, instead of post blocking here, okay, if we get an off corner, we're going to push him, okay, we're going to push him to 12 yards, okay, and then push the revolving door, which is his inside shoulder. So if we have access to his inside shoulder, we can push that, not necessarily a post, okay, but a skinnier post, almost like a bender, right inside, okay? He'll be the number 1 read. Now, I like this because this is what teams will do. If we're running this QB counter tray, okay, and we're keeping the ball, okay, now we hand the ball off, and they think that they're in a better position by having us throw hot off will pressure. But what's going to happen is this safety's going to see run, and now boom, we create a one-on-one on the perimeter, okay? So we get will pressure, A picks that up, we have our sit hitch here. Now keep in mind, these two could read run. The player here who's going to read run more is going to be this buck right here because he sees pulling guard. He knows that this is a team, this is an offense that runs a lot of QB counter tray. So as soon as Will blitzes and strong safety, or the strong side safety fills, now we create a one-on-one on the outside. And if my guy's better than your guy on the edge, that plus angles and prior plays called, we like our matchup to number 1 on here.
Now what you got on the backside with the receiver on the backside?
Now backside, what we got to do is we got to push 3, vertical for 8, and stem the corner.
Taking 2, right?
Yep. Right here, the read is going to be on the front side. The only thing that's going to take us backside is if we know we're going to get man-to-man here with a post safety. But then again, if we know we're getting some heavy blitz or one high structure, we're probably going to call different plays anyways. You know, this is mainly reaction to a quarter-style defense who wants to adjust to something like this. And again, it's all about creating the one-on-one out here. Baylor's very good at doing this. Using the run game and the play-action pass game to set up one-on-ones. Using this safety as the linchpin to really run their plays off of. So I like this concept right here.
Yeah, you get that. You get this guy, this over-aggressive safety, reading this. You ran this 15 times in the game already. Right. Now you want to throw it off of it. He's flying up in that alley. And now you got what you want on the outside.
You're forcing the safety to be an over-aggressive alley player. They send Will pressure blocking here. Now, if they sit, we're okay. You know, we can still get a playoff here if this is a disciplined safety and he takes this over the top. So if he takes our post, our skinny over the top, okay, and this Will doesn't blitz, okay, he'll be closer to the middle of the field or still occupying the run. He'll still be respecting the run, or now we can get our eyes right to this Will, okay? So if he's over the top of our width hitch, which means he's not blitzing, we'll just throw to our check down right here, okay? If he does blitz, and if the strong safety takes my number 1, and he does blitz, we'll throw the width hitch right here. So it's a nice smooth progression from skinny to the width hitch to the check down. It's, you know, I think it's simple to teach, and I think it's a great progression to give your quarterback if you're going to run this quarterback run counter scheme. So we went through the wrong way read, as I like to call it, with the wrong way quarterback counter read. We went through the hot that's off of it, okay? And we went through a play action pass, okay? Entirely different, but has that same guard read from the interior backers that can suck them down, and we'll get a great read in the field, okay? So now I want to take the same blocking scheme up front, only now instead of the quarterback being the dive, I want the A-back being the dive, okay? With the quarterback being the pitch, and we'll show you what we do to the field, okay, if we have access to it, to try and manipulate some flat defenders, okay? So right now, we're going to get the same look. Tight end here. Only difference is I'm going to put trips in the field.
I'm back on out your way. Got trips. Go ahead.
Yep. Same front. Okay. Off corner here. Okay. What's important about this guy right here is that a lot of teams, when they see tight end trips to the field, okay, this could be a hard corner, some cover 6 type deal, some cover 2. We'll get into that eventually, okay? Otherwise, it's just the same thing. Odd front. Okay. So, I guess the quarterback's important. I'll draw him.
On some teams,
Okay, so what we got here is tight end of the boundary, trips to the field, A-back 2 trips, and we're going to draw up the same blocking scheme up front. Nothing new, okay? So inside gap step here, inside gap step here. Tackles the runoff, the run through, I should say, unless this end spikes. Okay? Angle to play side A. Backside A, responsible for half of that nose. Kick, first pass, tight end. Wrap and seal, yard depth. Okay. This end is still the read key. Again, I moved the A-back 2 trips. I moved him to the read side, which means he is now the dive player, which means it's 1, 2, 3 through the mesh. And if he's given the ball, he's looking to insert this in the B gap. Okay. If the quarterback pulls the ball, he's looking to attack the outside shoulder of the end's original alignment. Okay, he's looking to attack that outside shoulder. Okay, from here, this is where the pass attachment comes into play. Okay, if we get a pull read and we get a guy who likes to bend the edge here, okay, our eyes now go to this will. Okay, and you know, some people like snag over here, some kind of snag concept, some sort of stick concept that works for me as well. I think personally, especially off of plays where you're pulling offensive linemen, where against an odd defense, you could get a spill here, or not a spill here, but you could get a trap here, some sort of, like we were going over before, some kind of pressure, something to support this alley, okay, to quarterback run. So what we're going to do here is we're going to bubble 3, okay, just a regular bubble, not a back out bubble, okay. Number 2, we're going to push him vertical, okay? And number 1, we're going to have him on a 3-step slant, okay? So again, this does take repetitions, it does look complicated, but let's make this not more simple than it actually is. If this defensive end sits or expands his leverage, we're handing the ball off and the play's open, the read's over, okay? So if he gives us a pull read, we're going to push the leverage of the outside shoulder and look at this will. If this will, okay, bites down on this bubble, we're going to replace him with a slant. Okay. If he comes over the top of the slant, we're going to throw the bubble. Okay. If we know we're going to get some tulip over here with a safety over the top on a hard corner, okay, that's our opportunity to either run the ball where it's vacated or throw the whole shot over the top, depending on the location of that safety.
Now, which is interesting because if you flip it a certain way, it's no different than your triple option.
It's really no different at all. You know, it's just different ways of using triple option football. You know. Good artists copy, great artists steal. You know, Pablo Picasso had something when he first said that. You know, we're just taking old school option football, putting it to a spread set, okay? And now we're taking part of the Trey run game from, you know, Joe Gibbs style, and now we're taking a regular slant bubble with a seamer in the middle. So again, if he gets a pull read, we're watching the will, really attacking that will. Unless we're getting some sort of hard corner right here, we should have the bubble. If this will respects the bubble, we're throwing the ball right over the top of his head to the slant.
Well, for a young guy, man, you're pretty bright on his whiteboard, so I appreciate you taking time coaching me up today, man.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
No problem.